Hello Ben，見到你啦。如果你有 slide 嘅話，一陣可以試一試，睇下 share 唔 share 到 screen 啦。OK，唔該 Ben。如果你 ready 話俾我知得㗎啦。好似有啲回音，阿 Ben。阿 Ben 啊，你可以試一試 send，同埋可以試一試 share screen。唔該晒 Ben，我哋仲有1分鐘就開始。OK，個畫面 OK，咁暫時未聽到你把聲。我停一停 share screen 啦，等你試一試。OK，唔該。咁歡迎 YouTube 上面嘅朋友。今晚咧就有阿 Ben 啦，阿 Ben 咧就係一位我哋城大畢業嘅學生啦，亦都有豐富嘅創業經驗啦。今日我哋聽聽佢嘅分享。阿 Ben 如果喺度嘅話，可以出一出聲啦，或者可以打字嚇。暫時都未聽到你把聲。我睇下先，我見到你個咪有 volume，但係我都仲係未聽到你把聲。ABC 聽唔聽到阿 Ben 把聲啊？我睇下係咪我個問題啊？我就開咗 speaker，不過好似都未有聲。點解咧？會唔會阿 Ben 你試一試 斷咗個 audio，跟住或者再 connect 多次睇會唔會好啲。ABC 聽唔聽到我講嘢咧？係啦，如果 ABC 聽到我講嘢，可以打個 OK 嘅。OK，阿 BC 聽到我講嘢，但係聽唔聽到阿 Ben 講嘢咧？如果你聽到阿 Ben 講嘢，你打 Ben 啦，係。你如果聽到我打個 Ben 字咁解。咦？你聽到喎？咁啊，點解我聽唔到咧？我打個碼先。嗱，咁唔緊要，我哋等多陣啦。我而家試一試用另一部機，我睇下入唔入到你有冇聲先。等一等啦，唔好意思。阿 Ben，你試一試 share screen 啦，唔該。OK，我用另一部機入嚟睇下，你試一試出聲，阿 Ben，唔該。都係冇聲喎，點解咧？阿 Ben 試下講嘢，我睇下聽唔聽佢講嘢。有聲啦，好似得啦。你試一試講嘢。
Hello。
掂啊，掂晒，有聲。咁你試一試 share screen 睇得唔得 ？Hello, yeah. Elfie, welcome to join us here. The session tonight will be in English. We are doing some testing, so we're going to introduce Ben. Yeah, Ben Huang. Ben, are you going to share with us without the PowerPoint, or you want to use PowerPoint tonight?
Okay.
Yeah. Because maybe you can share the screen with your PowerPoint first, and then I can introduce you, and then you can start with your sharing, and then later on we can have the Q&A. Yes, thank you.
Okay.
你可以撳綠色嗰粒掣，咁啊可以 share 到 screen 啊。不過 check 清楚係 share 你個 PowerPoint 咁樣啦，唔該。Thanks for waiting. Yeah, we are doing some final last minute update. Yes. Okay, Ben is here. Okay, very good. So I'm going to introduce Ben. Yes. Okay. Okay. Welcome. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to this CityU-EE webinar. Tonight we have Ben Huang, who is a CityU-EE graduate. And during his study, I remember he spent one whole year working in IBM as a 1 year like a placement. And then later on, when he graduated, he actually started up his company. And recently, he's now working in a company called VeServe, right? And then he's now the technical lead in this company. And more importantly, there are a couple of CityU-EE current students working in this company under his leadership. And I would like to quickly just introduce Ben to all of you. And Ben has a very extensive background in technical knowledge and also very good in people management skills and project management skill. So I would like to pass the time to Ben. And Ben, the stage is all yours. Feel free to start with your sharing tonight. And the whole session will be recorded on YouTube. Thank you.
Okay. Hello. Good evening and good night, everyone. So today I have prepared some brief introduction about myself and some of the like project and what we are doing, and also maybe some of the background about me, and also what I've done since CityU, since graduate, and also how they achieved me and this kind. So but actually tonight I don't have a fixed topic, so whenever you have some idea or you want to let me discuss, and just stop me anytime. So so I am Ben. I'm from computer engineering, and I pretty much like graduated like 5 years, 5 years. Back in the day, we still don't have computer and data engineering. We only have computer engineering. So and also most of the time I spend time on data structure and algorithm, and also a little bit about robotics. So and most of the time, I start the ACM contest since year one, and also I participated for 2 and 3 years, and since after graduate, I still back to university to do some coaching on the junior session of ACM programming contest. Okay. So what we do now, I'm running a company called VeServe, and basically we do machine learning and on NLP task recognition and speech recognition, and the main core the business itself is about customer service and loyalty. Because whenever you talk about this kind of business, you always about customer relationship, because you want to know your customer better. So some of them is about call center integration, and also the how to enhance customer satisfaction. For example, one of the most common topic we talk is the chatbot. Chatbot we definitely work on, and also some kind of semantic analysis about how your customer feedback with you, and also how are they happy with your service, and also about tests and voice recognition thing. We also like do something like automation, so that a company can spend less people and have better performance and better yield. So this is our major client and major partner in Hong Kong. So FWD is our first client, and also we have the Ring Macau we signed this year, and most of our partner is on telecom service like Hong Kong T and PCCW, and Hawaii is also a telecom company that is one of the biggest brand worldwide. Okay, so this is a kind of my journey since I joined CityU. I start with ACM, and also I also participate in Apps Lab for like in year 2, and also in like year 3, first year of year 2, I joined the CCMF, the cyberport, one of the funding for startup funding, and also the Robocon. And after I go to, with this background, I apply for the IBM placement scheme, and the project is on, we are working on Cafe Pacific. So this is my experience. In ACM program contest, my main area on it is mostly about graph theory and topology. Part of it is about dynamic programming, because we have pretty much 3 members in a team, so we have different people on different focus. Some of them about string processing, some of them is about computation and
And sorry to interrupt. I think there's a small window on your right hand side, and maybe you need to remove it, because from our end we see there's a
okay.
You can close this. Thank you.
Okay, so I find this kind of topic very important, especially data structure and algorithm. And right now, I still work a lot with graph theory, because although in the university stage, or when we are talking about graph theory, we mostly focus about connectivity, like path optimization, this kind of thing. But with more, if you are working on the AI part, then you can actually find that graph theory is more important in the future, especially, for example, like relationship analysis, and also like some kind of social media analysis, like how people can influence by some topics. And for example, in Facebook and like Telegram or maybe Instagram, graph theory can have a lot of important place. For example, one of the topic I'm working on is about the graph embedding. It's about how to like find similar person in this mass ocean of people. So yeah. And also the CityU Apps Lab, we have a more like industrial exposure and like experience to work with industrial level. So some kind of a public exhibition and some kind of like industrial project. They have some kind of opportunity, like hire some part-time student, work with them. So that is a good experience, and most importantly, they don't have too much expectation on you. So less pressure and good experience. And also a startup project. Back in the day, we are doing some kind of community-driven student coaching program, like matching university student with secondary school student, so that they can share experience and do some kind of free knowledge exchange. So right now, this business idea is not running anymore, but we do have this kind of community still running in Facebook. And the idea is that people, whenever they have problem, they can share their question, and whoever have this knowledge can respond and discuss this thing. So it's kind of like self-fulfill, this kind of and also the Robocon competition. The Robocon competition is actually not quite success, I have to say, but still it's more about like microcontrolling and better system, this kind of thing. But in Hong Kong, you don't have too much opportunity to like extend this career path, because the micro control system, the demand is not very large, and also the competition is mainly from mainland. So okay, and also my IBM career, we have a 1 year experience in IBM. We have my team is called ASM, Application Support and Maintenance. So for the whole year's experience, everything is very compact. So a regular team, they have maybe a project life cycle for half year, maybe 3 to 5 years. But in my IT career, this kind of we have a lot of micro development. So everything have to be changing very fast, and every project their scope is very small. So we're talking about like 10 days for one task and like half month for one project. So everything have to be very neat, and you have to be very sharp, because this kind of minor change always driven by some kind of business need. So you don't have too much time to investigate. You have to like catch up very fast. And that's the time that we start to introduce the idea of agile project management in Cathay Pacific. And at that time, it's very new to Hong Kong IT industry as well. So that is also helped me a lot in current company running. So this is pretty much everything I prepared for today. If you have any problem, you can share. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you, Ben. I think with this 15 minutes, every one of us can see you have a very extensive background to explore so many things, right? So how many years you spend your time in CityU? Is it 4 years or you defer for 1 year? So this is my first question for you.
I defer 1 year because the placement scheme. So back in the day, I'm the last batch of student under the 3-year scheme. The next year they start the 3-4.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So this is something like you spend 4 years in a university,
Yeah.
and when you enter like a CTU, right? Do you think you have some solid like engineering or programming background? Do you before you come to EE, for example, EE? How do you describe yourself?
I have not too much programming background and technology know-how, but I do have a little bit of programming knowledge that's driven me to extend my career on engineering. Because during secondary school, I do participate in some kind of robotic competition. That's also driven for why I am eager to join the Robocon. But I have to say unlike some kind of student who are from mainland and from especially India, Hong Kong's Hong Kong's education in programming is rather weak back in the days and seems to be starting right now in these 2 or 3 years. But there's still a gap.
Are you saying when you like kind of compare with your peers in EE or in CS like a department, you see some obvious gap among yourself, I mean Hong Kong student and also the student from mainland or the student from India, like with Elfie. Elfie, what's your major?
My major is computer and data engineering, professor.
Yeah, CTE. So we have another CTE student here from CTU. Welcome. Yeah. So Ben, what's your opinion on that?
I think local Hong Kong students don't have too much advantage about it. But in CityU, the learning chance is equal. As long as you are eager to learn, there's definitely a lot of opportunity to catch up. In CityU, especially in EE, to be honest, the thing we put under the curriculum is not too strong. So there's a pros and cons about it. The good side is that you have a rather more free time to explore. So, for example, one of the experience I catch is that actually what we learn in computer engineering, for example, data structure and algorithm, our curriculum is far behind some other university. So, but you have to catch up. But yeah.
So you're saying like a normal distribution. So there are two-tailed. Half of the student you have more freedom to explore for more learning material, and we believe you are on this side, right? So some students they are kind of like just fulfilling what is given, and then they finish that. So what makes you push yourself to this end? So this is something we want to know.
One of the reasons is that I love project management and also how to say it, the idea is that I like building solution. I like delivering a solution is a very extraordinary thing. For example, solution delivery is unlike other career. So, for example, if you are like IT service or maybe some other industry, what you are working is like day by day routine. For example, project management or maybe some kind of if you are working on a cargo industry, you don't have a lot of chance and you don't have a lot of challenge. But if you are working on engineering and also working on especially computer engineering, you have you have every challenge, and your whole career is about we set a target and how we can overcome every difficulty and deliver the solution with a limited budget and with limited time. That's a very exciting thing. So that's why I entered the computer industry.
Cool. Yeah, feel free to type any question because I've prepared like 20 to 30 questions for Ben. Yeah, if you guys are not asking, I will take over all the time, right? So feel free. Yeah, we have so many students here. So talking about your journey, can you go over your slide? So you introduce, maybe it's good time for us to revisit your slides again. So maybe we can start with the early part. So you mentioned about your journey, right? So you started your journey in EE. And one thing that you highlight is, yeah, maybe this is a good slide. So you mentioned like ACM and then Career and then startup and then Robocon and then IBM. Is there any like a standard recipe for a university student to go through this kind of learning process? Or you feel like this is always like depending on the people and depending on their like motivations? So how do you see a university student can turn into somebody who really know what they really want, yeah, and they are very ready for the market now? Today, when you say you see the news from Cathay Pacific, but we know your companies are always actively recruiting people, not even they graduate. So you're looking for people. So how do you describe this kind of a learning curve?
I think my learning curve is there's no fixed solution about everything. For example, back in the day, in academic side, we don't have a lot of discussion about deep learning. Back in the day, we don't have leak code, and we don't have the cargo, the data computation competition. So ACM algorithm is actually the algorithm design is also some of a specific region. But I think the idea is that you have to learn everything and you have to find how to utilize everything you learned. So startup is one of the approach that force you, that push you to combine everything you already learned to achieve some of the target. And whatever you learn, there's I have to say that one of the very famous quote from my manager is that that back in the day in IBM is that he shared with me is some people they work for 8 years and some of the people they if given the two people that they already work for 8 years, some of them they work for 1 year and some of them with 8-year experience. They are two different things. So the idea is that whenever you learned, you do something, you got to capture some experience, summarize something that can be used for your future. And that's why in IT industry or whatever industry you're on, we don't have fixed career path. Some of the people they maybe start with a design user experience thing, but ultimately they can manage some project that is not exactly their original career path. So I think the learning skill is far more important than the fixed pattern.
So you're saying EE department provide you the environment for you to learn how to learn, right? That is the key point.
The opportunity to learn.
Right. So talking about like all these big events, right? You have experience. Obviously, you must have a lot of good friends, good peers. How do you choose your peers in this kind of learning journey? Or how do you maintain the relationship with them, friendship with them? Yeah. And in a way that you can learn from them, they can learn from you.
I think is about motivation. Motivation is one of the most important thing. So for relationship, for me personally, I suggest whenever you know somebody, you want to know whether you need to become very close with them. Always start from motivation. It's like what motivate them. Because it's like startup or whatever you might be like running a company. Because whenever you are starting a startup, it's not like you are running an enterprise. You are very small. Everything have to be very compact. So it's always about one. You don't expect everyone knowing the same thing, but it's about covering each other as long as we have the same goal. So if we have the you want to achieve the same thing, then you don't have to worry about some minor things like personality or some kind of yeah. As long as because as startup you have to learn, you have to keep changing. So nothing is constant, but whenever you have the difficulty and we have the same goal, you will overcome it. You will find a way to overcome. That is far more important than what we have already learned.
Got it. True. Yeah. Can we continue the slides? So you put so many information in this like a 10 slides. So ACM Programming Contest, and you join. Yeah. In your team, we see the student from Hong Kong, the student from India as well, and I can see Van is our department instructor. So you learn a lot of programming skills from him. So how do you see like the student who really want to do programming? How will you advise them to choose EE or CS department? So what's your opinion on that?
EE and we have one of EE student still in office.
Really? Hello.
Yeah.
Yes, good to see you.
Wow,
Yeah.
long time no see you.
Exactly. So I have to say, over the 30 years history, CityU-EE department, we have over like a 9,600 graduate over the year. So we're very proud to have all you guys. Yeah, please continue, Ben.
Okay. So I think there's no fixed path about everything. So when we discuss about EE and CS, there's always two very different directions. And from my experience and from my discussion with some graduate from CS department, the insight is EE is difficult at the beginning because you got to deal with something like signaling, Fourier transform, and computation and mathematics. And for at the beginning stage, CS is rather easier. But when you have about a postgraduate stage, I think computer science might be more challenging because it's always that start with theory and everything your like technical or your knowledge foundation have to be very strong. And but in engineering, we are talking about mostly we focus on how to deliver the solution, and we tolerate about error. So it's about achieving things, not to instead of studying the theory itself. So I think if you are like more hands-on guy, you want to make something or you don't want to create something, engineering is a better approach. But if you want to study the theory and you want everything to be perfect, then science will be more appropriate approach.
That's a very good observation. Yeah. By the way, different people will have a different opinion, and I think Ben and I we share one like a common point. Yeah. In fact, my undergraduate is actually from a CS department, but my major is computer engineering. So in CityU, the CE program is called CDE now, is in EE department. So if you want to know more about hardware, you want to see things, you want to touch things, you want to play with this kind of a board, something you can hold it, you can touch it. So EE will be the choice for you to go for it. But like Ben is saying, computational like thinking and also theory, and that is more on the CS side. So two different approach. Both of them, they're very good, but I think for student, you just need to know it. But Ben is developing his skills now in the AI domain, which is also spanning across EE and CS department. Yeah, maybe continue. Now we go over this ACM slide. So we have maybe some other slide. So feel free to ask your question. We have Ivan from Russia, with LV from India. We also have quite a number of local students. Yeah, AppsLab. AppsLab, you are one of the early member. I think you graduate in 2016. You are one of the few member who actually see the birth of AppsLab, if I'm correct, right? Yeah. So how do you see
my first year?
Yeah. So how do you see this kind of community, like a student-driven community, the positioning? So with this kind of community, do you think like a Hong Kong high school, they should also have a similar community like this? Or this kind of community, we are able to connect with talent from different major, different university. So in your opinion, how should we position ourselves that can really support the university student to identify their long-term career goal or learning objectives?
I think one of the most important thing is to encourage the exchange of knowledge. For example, I do participate in some other community-based event in Hong Kong. For example, like the Hong Kong Open Source Conference. They do a lot of things to encourage sharing. Not necessary to be a very advanced knowledge, maybe not necessary to be some kind of very complicated or very future technology. But the idea is that when during the exchange, you see more and you know more during the process. For example, in the day, I have no idea about like DevOps and this kind of Docker thing and Kubernetes and this kind of a lot of things I actually have no idea. But you got to participate in it. So whenever you as long as you have they give you a big picture about what is going on in the industries at this stage and what they are concerning, what is the problem, what is the root cause, and how they solve it in the industry level. So I think one of the experience from AppsLab is that back in the day we do have Dr. Wei actually invite a lot of people from industry. That is very good because disregard whether the thing they say you agree a lot or disregard this is true or wrong. They give you a different insight. So it's like raising your horizon, see more, and you got to think more. And but the thing is in Hong Kong is that students are too shy, and they are not very eager to exchange things. That is one of the things that definitely need to change in the future if you want to maintain the competence, the compatibility of everything. So that's one of the that's also one thing that I want in my company. We want to create this culture. So once in a while, we discuss with our partner. I have one business partner who is very senior in this computer industry, IT industry. So what we are doing is that once in a while, we have some kind of like sharing lunch with some people from the industry, so that the staff in our company, they got to get in touch with those who are actually working in this industry and see what their focus and yeah, because this trance is very important to them. Like sitting in the same table, have the same lunch, and
yeah. So we see Ben's colleague, right? Another EE graduate in his office. Obviously now it's 9:30. Ben is still working in the office. Is it quite normal for like a engineering graduate when you have a job? You're always like working day and night in the office. So people, they are very hesitant to go into this kind of field because I don't like to have a long working hour. What's your opinion on that?
Not quite. The reason I work very nice because I treasure the time to focus on if nobody is surrounding you, because whenever you're running a business during the week office hour, you have too much obstacles, like project meeting with the client, or maybe some kind of future project you got to discuss. So and I don't want to put every different thing aside. So I treasure the working hour at night. So but the thing is that what we are creating the culture in our company is that is like the we reward those who are working hard and contribute more. So, for example, one of the things we are working on is that instead of giving you a fixed payment, and instead of giving you a fixed salary raise every year, one of the things we try to work is that every project we extract, we like taking 10% to 20% of the whole revenue, and we share with our colleagues. So that's important because everyone, if you are in IT industry, you got to know what you are doing, why you are important, what role you are taking. So if you do understand your importance in the project, and if you are unreplaceable, then why don't we reward you more? So people in our team, we don't talking about some kind of thing like loyalty. We mostly focus on the project itself. So we don't really concern about the payment, the overwork thing, because eventually what we are talking about is how we deliver the project with the minimum cost, with the minimum time, so that we can earn more. Everyone can benefit more. So that is okay. That is a culture. Yeah.
Thank you. Sounds very exciting. Yeah, I keep on asking more questions. So obviously the Cathay Pacific news is today is unhappy, but COVID-19, at least in my opinion, like looking at this out of court webinar over since February, we already organized over 100 like a webinar and coding online event. I really see this as an opportunity. So do you also see this kind of like a positive side in your business? And as far as I know, your company is also expanding outside Hong Kong in other like one Belt One Road region in the whole world. So maybe you can share a bit more about what you're doing with the audience here, so that they can get a taste how technology can penetrate to the whole society and to the whole like planet. Thank you.
Okay. So whenever crisis, there always opportunity. So for us, it is actually a very great opportunity. But about the international side, is it's not quite smooth actually, to be honest, because since last year we start to establish some establishment in Thailand, and we also also the Southeast Asia part, Malaysia and Thailand, because they do have a culture similar to China, and but due to the impact on the airline thing, we cannot go to there personally, so a lot of things get slowed down. But on the other side, because our focus is about digital transformation, what we are doing is very much about customer relationship and contact center and profit center. One of the things we do is that we work a lot with contact center and call center, this kind of thing, because truth is, whatever company, as long as they are doing B2C business and their scale is larger than 15 staff, for example, 100 staff, they do have a customer service sector, because every customer to them is very important. So the relationship thing is very costly because every people you have to be in your contact center, your service center, you have to be online, and you have to respond very fast. And we have something about SLA. We have a lot of things, for example, customer satisfaction we talk about. So this kind of measurement actually caused a lot of pressure in our current industry because, for example, in call center, you can't train up very skillful staff very quickly, especially in last year in mainland. Most of the district, the border is closed. So some company, they do have this kind of thing about they have a difficulty for people in different border. So that's also why we are important because we make them allow them to do to work remotely, and also we maintain this service level unchanged, given that your staff cannot come to office. Also, if given that your manpower is reduced, the automation part also help you to reduce the impact. So in this period of time, our service didn't impact very much, and the opportunity is still demanding is high.
Yeah, so it's always a pros and cons. Sounds very exciting. Yeah, I think you are going to fly over to maybe Thailand and Indonesia later on very soon. Can we have the next slide? So we would like to continue. So some good time in AppsLab. AppsLab is still here. Yeah, so we didn't update much on the website, but we are turning into the internal side. So you mentioned previously we are quite well known from the industry. So now instead of just well known from the outside, we want our students know us. So I think we are putting a lot of effort to develop our member internally. Yeah. So studying buddy, as far as we know, this group of students, are they like a high school student or are they university student? So this kind of, is it like a service charge or is it a voluntary service that you provide to the community? So what have you learned from this kind of activities?
I think the most important thing is that we do have a lot of insight from it that driven us to equip us to start the startup or running business because at the beginning, study buddies is only about community sharing. So we have to push a lot of effort, like talk with everyone, like we have to sell the idea, like how we encourage people to help others for mutual growth. And we have to constantly spending a lot of time. Maybe we even have to do the answering ourselves on the question because it's about community and it's about balance. So the whole thing is that like high school students, they raise the question, and some university students, they answer, and so that they can, based on the thing, they can start the discussion. But the thing is that it's like a lot of platform startup. You got to, if you don't have initiative, you cannot drive people to do things. So, for example, in Uber, if you don't have your incentive is not large enough, no driver, and then when there's no driver, then you don't have customer. So one of the startup in Singapore is they do have a success model about it. So the idea originally is that if you're coaching student with and they will rank your answer, and if your answer is good enough, we will help how to arrange you for the private teaching so that you can earn more. That is the thought a little while after we start the business. So that's all. I think the core idea on running a business is that you don't expect everyone will do volunteer work, and you have to satisfy everyone's demand. So that and for platform business, if you don't have large enough capital, you cannot sustain at the beginning stage. So you have a very difficult survival rate. That's why in this few year, from my opinion, I don't recommend you to work on platform like business, like P2P loan or like P2P platform, this kind of thing, unless you have a very keen budget project plan and you have a good enough capital.
So, yeah, I think everybody can. Yeah, we see like people like ABC. He has been here since 9 p.m. tonight. So what Ben has demonstrating is a very strong technical know-how, excellent communication skills, excellent management skills. In particular, his English skill is also very good. So can we continue? I still have a few more questions. Feel free to type your questions or interrupt me to ask questions. Can we have the next slide, please? Yeah, I like to go over each slide because I have so many questions. Yeah, Robocon, right? Robocon, you mentioned this is a very embedded, like, in fact, in this semester, I'm teaching embedded system. So I see the world is becoming like an Internet of Things. They are very smart. All these devices, they are getting very smart. I agree that there's a job market is demand, but you also mentioned we are facing the competition from, let's say, mainland or other parts. So these are kind of a job is not necessarily stationed in Hong Kong. So how can we, as a Hong Konger, to stay competitive, or we just try to look for the job that we can get high pay and we work in Hong Kong? What's your opinion? Is it always everybody should do AI these days, right?
I think AI is definitely a future trend, and if you and I think for startup, or maybe if you are talking about this industry, you don't have to. Hong Kong, they have a very very good advantage is that you can actually reach a lot of new technology and a lot of industry rather in a very less challenge way and very easy way because of the tax policy and also the relationship thing. So instead of doing everything on your own, the idea is that Hong Kong is a very good platform to outreach the worldwide. For example, after a few months, there's a global source conference. Hong Kong is kind of like a hub of everything of a lot of relation. So Hong Kong may not be that important in manufacturing, but Hong Kong is a good connection spot. So, but the idea is that you have to learn and you have to actually know what each component, how they are working. If you have a good idea and you have a good insight, you can actually like seek cooperation with those industry. So instead of working everything on your own, sometimes you can actually leverage a partner, and that's far important than solo. So for example, if you are working on electronic, if you want partners from 3D printing, Dongguan is a very good place, and they for microcontroller control system, lots of industry back there is they have a lot of good experience back in the day. So it's a business world. No one actually treasure whether the whole thing is done by you personally. So you find a good solution and you find a good partner. Then everything is about how to carry out the whole project. So okay.
Yeah, that's a very clear answer. Yeah, so many opportunities. Still keep going. So we have a good question from Joy Leung. He's asking the Robocon team. Obviously, different university has a different strength. They are all doing very well, including CityU team. So how do you compare the difference between CityU team and also other university team? Yeah. In your opinion, yeah.
I think, from my opinion, winning a competition team is very much still very much like startup because for example, if you are the the problem of Robocon is that you don't have enough fund, so that actually affecting the whole things because you don't have enough money, then you cannot buy the same equipment in same level, and then you don't have a good performance in the competition, and then you can see it's actually a backlog. So next year you don't have a good performance, and then you don't have a good
Funding.
yes, it's a whole cycle. So it's also happen in company, and if you are in the future, it's always about it's always the same. So but actually you can think out the boss, for example, instead of looking for funding from department, you can always like write a proposal to some company and seek collaboration in another way. So don't don't just dig into the technology side only because you are engineering student. You can always like create some idea. And to be honest, especially in Hong Kong, a lot of startup company they actually are very eager to work with education sector, especially they also want to explore good candidate of the staff in the future. So for me, I can, from my opinion, you can always like seek for collaboration with new startup. So maybe in somehow your product can, by utilizing their component, it's also advertising for them. For example, one of the company in Science Park, they are working on motion control, motion sensing. Maybe you can set a proposal for them and see whether they are willing to donate you testing kit. And in somehow you show their product value during the competition. And this is how you do things if when you don't have enough funding. And so don't just saying that you don't have enough funding, so you cannot win, and that's always a well one.
Totally agree. Yeah, just 3 years ago when we bring the team to Singapore, we met the Singapore underwater robotic team. They also mentioned they don't have like a swimming pool to test run the robot, and they write a letter to the Prime Minister of Singapore. And the reason behind they give a lot of evidence. Eventually, the department, the officer in Singapore, they grant the use of this swimming pool. So nothing is difficult if we are determined to do it right. So I would like to highlight tonight, we also have so many good people here. Benson Sin, I remember he is the Robocon team this year in CityU as well. They're doing very well. And also we have Koi Lam, and she's also the CityU underwater robotic team. They're all listening from your band. So the quality of the audience, they're all very high here. And Koi just recently won the competition for the JP Morgan for the gold prize. So we really see this kind of knowledge sharing is so important with quality event. In case you, like Jack, who just joined us now, you can always watch the whole clip later on YouTube. So can we continue? We only have 5 more minutes to go. I still have 2 more questions for you. Yeah, feel free to prepare your questions. Yeah, the next question is about IBM. Yeah, so many people like IBM is a so famous tech giant company. Like a week ago, I think they released a new scheme talking about IBM to support, collaborate with Cyberport to empower this kind of tech, I think credit or something like that. So what's your experience in IBM? Is it something like so sophisticated to get in? What kind of people are there working in this kind of company in Hong Kong? Yeah.
In Hong Kong, back in the day, the team under IBM is global business service. So the idea is that how instead of okay, let me say this. So the core idea of a global business service is that you don't have to be using the most advanced technology. You have to be very good on algorithm. You don't have to be very good in mathematics. But the whole idea is that how you create value. So the IBM, the core business is about business consultation. So whenever we're talking about business consultation, it's always about making money. How we can benefit you, how you make more money so that we can also go with you and we can also make more money. So for example, the thing we mentioned is like business transformation. So in my segment back in the day in IBM, I work on the Asian Mouse and the Marco Polo Cup. It's always about loyalty, how we help people to one term we keep constantly mentioning is that the customer success. So we are not focusing on how you as a company entity, the Cathay Pacific itself, it's not about the Cathay Pacific itself. We want everyone on your company, your company's customer. We want everyone to be benefit from it. So, for example, you can get the assistance more easily. You can get your service. You can there's a lot of minor things that can help you that driven you to stick into this company so that you will become loyal to this. So we transform every customer to be a lifetime, we create the lifetime value of every customer. So eventually everyone will make more. So about business consultation is always about how we adapt technology itself and help you grow your business.
Cool. Yeah, I would like to keep maybe 1 minute for my closing remark, just to summarize. So we still have 2 more minutes. My last question for you tonight is this. So now you are like in your mid-20s, okay? You graduate from VeServe for about 4 to 5 years. So what's your longer term career plan? Like in 5 to 10 years time, what do you want to achieve? Yeah, this is something that can really help our university student to maybe see you as a role model, an example for them to continue the journey, right? So I would like to ask this question as a last question for tonight. Thank you, Ben.
I think in short term is like 5 to 10 years. Still, I'll pretty much still focus on consultation because it's about service delivery and it's about how to create value itself. And for longer term, I think capital, like for example, some of the company they work on the angel capital fund. This kind of company are actually kind of my future plan. So maybe joining one of these kind of companies. So the idea is that how we spot the right technology in the future and we spot the right team, and also how are we able to assist this company to grow. And so angel capital, for example, there's a few in Hong Kong, but in mainland and in America, there's a lot of this company that actually invest on new startup, and their profit margin is very high because they have to be very, they have to carry the very deep understanding about technology itself, not just about the current stage, but maybe 5 year in the 10 year, and they're not even necessary to be about IT, maybe enzyme, biotechnology, nanotechnology, material science, this kind of thing. So each of them is actually changing the future. So participant in this kind of industry that's actually could be another dimension in the future.
Thank you, Ben. Yeah, due to the time, yeah, I would like to first of all thank you, Ben. Given his very busy schedule, he is always ready to contribute back to the society and also EE department. Wherever we want him to give a sharing, he's always ready for that. And Ben has set a very clear, a good example for us what a Hong Kong talent should move forward. And we also want to say thank you to all the participants tonight. And I hope you all agree that this webinar series presented to you by the CityU-EE department and also Out of Code. Our goal is very simple. We want to find the best speaker, no matter what's the age group. They could share their important personal journey that can inspire the peers. Just like what Ben is saying, sharing is important. So in case you miss the previous event, I would like to, Ben, can you stop sharing screen? I would like to share something. Yeah, I would like to share the upcoming event. Thank you, Ben. Yeah, let's give a big hand to Ben first. I'm going to share the two files. 2 pages. So the first page I would like to share is in case you have missed our previous event, you can always go to the Out of Code like a YouTube channel. There's a playlist. Okay, this is a playlist. It's called the EE webinar, and then you can find out all the previous speaker with Samson, Paco, Rika, KL, and Fong, and now with Ben. Our goal is this: we want to create this kind of a community to find out what they've been doing. The recent graduate, like a Ben, is here tonight. We also have a Stephen next week. So 1 per week. Okay, so it's like an evening time before you go to bed, and then we have some good time to discuss. And then we also have a Vincent. He's now in Shanghai. The speaker coming up next, we also have a speaker coming from India, from other part of the world, from Thailand. And then we also have Rocket, who is currently from undergrad to PhD student in EE. And then we also have May working in different company. He's now in UT Austin in USA. And then we also have Yu-Yi. She's a CityU-EE graduate and now is a high school teacher. And we hope with all our sharing, we hope you will learn something from them and keep the bonding with our speaker. So that's all for tonight. We hope you enjoy it. Yeah, this is the end. Once again, thank you, Ben. This whole event is fully supported by the CityU-EE department and also Out of Code. Thank you. Have a good night. Bye-bye. 多謝你，Ben。